So, welcome to the Theatres of Dreams Extra Time. And for those of you who watch us on YouTube, you'll be seeing that there's a certain blue side of the triplet missing. Mr. Bars has gone missing, and nobody's seen him for a week since the Derby. So, we've brought in a substitute, and some say he's actually much better. We're going to be talking today about Villa, and we've got Mark coming from the Midlands, who's
No, well, yeah, he comes from the middle, but he's not. But then he moved down to St Albans, so he's like
a
an
posh
Aston
Villa.
Villa, an Aston Villa now turned posh. Yes,
Oh, okay. Well, we're talking about posh. You just heard Mr. Irvine there, the Liverpool fan. How are you, Richard?
I'm very well, thank you. And actually, it's actually quite nice to give Dom some stick for a change, isn't it? He says I go missing on occasion, but after that heavy defeat at Old Trafford, it is a bit conspicuous that he hasn't turned up today. Do you not think?
Apparently, nobody has seen him for a week. He's gone into exile. Him and Pep have been in some sort of bunker at Man City HQ trying to work out what is going wrong. They're basically wondering if they had all the players on the pitch for the 90 minutes.
Well, it's actually looking at the screen now, Mark. It's almost like we've got Pep in front of us, isn't it? Really, we've got like a Timu Pep.
Well, anyway, we're gonna come on and talk a little bit about Villa because it's been a great season for them, and Mark is a Villa fan. But let's just talk about the weekend football. Richard, how's your weekend football been?
Well, it's been a bit of highs and lows for Liverpool. We drew at home to Burnley, and then somehow we can manage to go to Marseille the other evening and win 3-0. A really good performance. In fact, many are saying that we're performing better in Europe than we are even at Anfield at the moment. So it was a great result. Salah came back from AFCON, went straight into the team, didn't score, should have scored. But yeah, a really good performance from Liverpool. They're looking like Wirtz seems to be settling. Allison had a great game again. What a goalkeeper. And yeah, so highs and lows at the moment, but we're finished on the high, 3-0. Take that. Look like we're going to qualify in the upper part of, and that's another reason, why Mr. Bowers might have gone missing. They got heavily defeated in Europe by some minnow, didn't they?
You need to praise my memory. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
they lost 3-1
Boro
to
Glint.
Borough Glint. I mean,
The massive European team, is that right? Yeah. My
oh,
God, I forgot about that actually. Yeah.
yeah, and they got Rodri sent off. So it's no wonder he's lying low.
It really is. Anyway, I wish he was here. I have to say, I wish he was here. But anyway, it's good to have Mark. Mark, let's talk about you first of all, and Villa, because you are, even though you're living down in the posh parts of the country, you are a Brummie at heart, are you not?
I am Brummie at heart through and through. When did I move down? Probably about 20 years ago now, down to London for work. But yeah, still Villa through and through. Wear the kit proud. Force it on the boy.
But Mark, tell me, was that from a child? Does that come family? How
Yeah,
does it? Just remind me about your Villa connection.
yeah. So it comes as a kid. So my old man took me to Villa, sitting in the family end at the north stand when I was fucking tiny. But I was talking to him about this last weekend actually, and he says actually some of our relatives played in the Villa team
Yeah.
way back when, but he couldn't quite remember their name or whatnot. But that's how he said his affiliation came. But yeah, so Villa through and through, and on the right part of Birmingham to support the Villa as opposed to Birmingham City on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mark, a lot of teams have fond memories of going to Villa Park because it's often the FA Cup semi-final
Yeah,
venue, and that's certainly some of my best times in football have been at Villa Park. Some of my worst times as well. It's one of those football grounds that still has an element of traditional football about it, even though it's big and it's been developed. It's still that one stand. I don't know which one it is. That it
the
actually
whole
looks a
tent.
bit like the one at Rangers.
The whole
No,
end.
yeah, the whole tent. So you've got the bricks as you go up, and then there's the what is it? Well, it was, whether it still is, the largest single end stand in Europe at one point. Whether it still is,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But no, the whole tent is amazing in full voice. There's nothing better.
And how I mean, it's been quite amazing that for such a big club right? And a big city region that what you won was it the European Cup back in the
82. 82 won the European Cup, and then our only other silverware was the League Cup in 96.
96.
That's
No,
it.
with Savo Milosevic. He'd been crap all season, decided to turn it on for his last game. That was a
Well,
3-something against Leeds, I think it was.
Was that against Leeds?
Against Leeds, yeah.
so what has it been that has stopped Villa pushing on and in the Premier League period especially actually dominating or being more in a top 5 team as they are at the moment, really?
They are. It always seems that when the players come through, then the other big teams, your lot, for example, come and poach them and take them away. So, I mean, I love Birmingham. I don't live there anymore, but I mean, let's be honest. If you're an international football player, do you want to live in London, Manchester, or Birmingham? It doesn't really have the great attraction. I think that's what we suffer from. I think and because of that, you don't get the position in the league, you don't get Champions League, and then the pool kind of falls away. So I just hope that we get a bit of a run of it at the moment, and that situation changes.
Yeah.
Do you really think that's what it comes down to? That, I mean, Liverpool, I know it's transformed as a city over the last 15, 20 years, but they've always managed to pull big players. So
Liverpool's got a huge history, though, hasn't it, Rex?
Yeah, and sometimes Newcastle gets this thrown at them that players aren't attracted to the northeast. They don't want to be up in the northeast. It is a bit of a tricky problem, especially with today's modern footballers, isn't it? They want swanky houses, fabulous nightlife, restaurants, but then, of course, Birmingham ticks quite a few of those boxes.
It does. But I think, put yourself in the position of a 25-year-old. Morgan Rogers say, do you kind of, that's your home, but the pools of Madrid or London or somewhere, I can see that. Players want to play for big clubs with big heritage that are doing things and playing football at the top level. Yeah. Which, Villa at the moment, absolutely, last couple of years. So, but
that's why we were talking before this about how you'd gone with your lad, Tom, to see for the first time this season, the Everton game at home the other week.
Yeah.
And that strange loss, because at that point, City, I think, had drawn a couple, and it was your big chance to go very close to Arsenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was an odd weekend of football scores anyway, wasn't it? Really, all around. But yeah, it was an odd game. The first 5 minutes, you could just feel around the stadium. It didn't feel like it was going to happen. Obviously, you've got lots of midfield injury problems. Then McGinn went off within 5 minutes. It was like, oh, where's this all coming from? So it wasn't a surprise that we lost that. I was hoping for a draw, but just one of those weekends. Just got to write it down and just kind of get on and move on.
Am I right in saying that Martinez made a little mistake in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was all his. It was a diving. He should have caught it. But he just popped it in. So that was a mistake. But that came from a Villa error, though. Torres just messed up.
Yeah,
and there was 1-on-1. So I mean, that was disappointing. But they had a goal disallowed for a dodgy. Well, it wasn't a dodgy. It was an VAR offside, but it wasn't really right. It's one of those ones we're seeing at the moment. So
yeah.
And all of our attempts, of which there are quite a lot, were just outside the box, smacking it in. And Everton, as David Moyes does so well, just packed the defence with players, and it was just pinging off people left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Pickford played amazingly as well. So, it was annoying, frustrating. We could have done better. We could have turned up a bit more, but weird weekend of football all around.
Yeah, but I suppose now you would be disappointed now if you didn't get top 4. Am I right?
Yes. I'll be hoping for top 4. You hope for, but our route to the Champions League next year, hopefully through the Cup, through playing in Europe, winning that.
That's right, because if you win the Europa League, you qualify anyway, don't you?
Guaranteed qualification. So, I mean, Unai's been talking about that. I mean, I don't know how much he's playing up stuff for the press, but he keeps saying, doesn't he? We're not a top 5, top 6 contender. Don't expect us to finish there, but deep down, I hope we do.
What has Emery done differently for you, Mark? I mean, what has he brought that has given you a bit more of an edge?
He just seems to be getting stuff out of players that wasn't happening before. He can just take them. I mean, for me, it was kind of, I guess, one of the good ones. Rashford came in.
Yes,
He was
of
been
course.
absolutely rubbish. He came in and he was just given confidence and the ability to play. And whatever happened in the dressing room, there's something happened, ignited a spark for him. And then where is he off at Barca now? It's like it
Yeah.
just seems to have this ability to inspire the players and get the best out of them.
I mean, that's ironic, isn't it? He's actually helped Marshall Rashford get his dream move, really,
Yeah,
by playing reasonably well for Aston Villa. He
yeah.
scored a few goals, didn't he? He looked
Mm.
lively on the left. Had done so badly at United. His head was down. He was falling out of the club. Villa gave him the lifeline, and then he's moved on, of course,
Yeah.
to Barca.
Well, I think he's come. He came with that realization that this was his chance. I mean, the way that Villa are set up with the PSR rules, we can't go spending money on players. We've got to take advantage of the loans. And the loan players who come in either
Yeah.
have to take it and grab it, or they don't. Like Harvey Elliott. I mean that's a weird situation in itself, really.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because Harvey Elliott was such. I know he came on as substitute a lot of the time for Liverpool, but he was a fan favourite. He looked like a grassroots, down to earth footballer, and can't even get any game time at all. What's going on there?
Well, they've got that trigger, haven't they? If he plays 10 games, they've got to buy him for 35 mil. And he must have come in. He must have not liked the look of him, and just doesn't want to play him. Doesn't want to trigger that clause.
And has that got to be by the end of January? The 10 games.
I think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I think it's. I'd have liked to have seen a bit more of him, give him a bit of a chance, but I guess
there's obviously something.
Trust.
There's obviously something between them, those two as well, isn't it? Because he seems to be a good manager, but something's not right there. I mean, I don't know. I don't suppose we'll find out. But as you can see, we were talking off air before about the game against Fenerbahce last night. Really, it could have been 3-0, but I have to say that this is another thing. Your second in command goalkeeper played last night. You'll have to remind me of his name.
Pizzo.
He looked like he was a really handy keeper. So
well, we brought him in to be the replacement for Emi because he was supposed to be going off to United.
Yeah,
so, I mean, like he's a good keeper.
Where's he from, Mark?
He came from a Swiss team.
And is he Swiss himself? Or?
I think so.
Yeah, he looked
very
good.
He's good. Emi. I mean, all Villa fans love Emi, but this season he seems to be letting a few in. Bit injury prone at the moment. He's had quite a few off. He's got a bad back now and again.
And has he been playing this goalkeeper in the cup games? Or was it just why wasn't Martinez playing last night?
Well, I mean, Villa's squad is a problem. There's not the depth. We got, as we get back into the next round of the Europa League, he's got to start resting players. He's got to start rotating them around, and I think that forms part of it. But Bizzo's played a good handful of games, at least 5 or 6 Premiership ones, and he's done well.
When I look at your squad and I look at your team that was out last night against Fenerbahce, it's the sum of its parts, isn't there? Because you couldn't say there's one. There's obviously good players in there, but clearly it's about the system and the way they work together, rather than just being about one or two big players.
I think you're right. We've got. I mean, McGinn in the middle. I mean, he wasn't playing; he's injured, but he's just phenomenal. He just controls everything. Morgan Rogers, obviously man of the moment at the, which is great for us to have, and Watkins. I mean, I'm guilty. I give him quite a bit of stick. My boy loves him. But he does a lot off the ball that you don't really see when you watch Match of the Day and the highlights. But I think they're good. They just need more depth. I mean, all the talk, wasn't it? Start of the month, our Villa title contenders. Look at them; they're in second. And all the pundits are like, I think it comes down to the squad, the depth of the squad. We're in the position now. We've got some injuries. Our midfield, we've got Onana out, we've got Kamara out, we've got McGinn out, we've got Barkley coming back in. You take that out.
Oh yes, Ross Barkley. I forgot about him.
So I'm a bit worried for January, to be honest, and February. I'm a bit
Those
worried.
those those ex-United players, Rodney, that you were talking about before.
Lindelof and
Lin-
Sancho.
yeah, are they on loan or have they been bought?
I think Lindelof's been sold. I can't
Lindelof's on
remember.
a free transfer. He was
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
And the thing that amazes me is Lindelof never looked a very consistent, reliable center back, and he didn't look physically strong enough to play that role. A good ball playing center back, but he's clearly settled it at Villa, and I think he's been there playing most games for you, Mark.
He's been, yeah, they swap between him and what's his name? Not Torres.
It wouldn't be
Pau. Is it Pau with Pau Torres? I think him and they swap between the two of them.
Torres.
Yeah,
Torres. Yeah,
yeah.
so
No,
yeah,
he's impressive. I like him. I like him.
yeah. So you're getting a trick out of him. You've got Jadon Sancho, who I just has thought he's a talented footballer, but he lacks, I don't know, concentration, continuity. He seems to get a little bit distracted off the pitch as well. But you're getting something out of him. I think you look at your team, and it's certainly the sum of its parts. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely fair play to Unai Emery. Whatever he's doing there, and however he's managing the players, he's doing a class job, really.
Well,
I
he
think so.
also seems to have a bit of passion, doesn't he? There was a bit of an incident last night that will probably be picked up in the media today, where he was a bit of pushing, shoving. He pushed and shoved his own player, Tielemans, as he came off, and then replied later that it's only because he treats him like his own son. So he's obviously a passionate man behind the
Yeah.
scenes, isn't he? He's got a fire in his belly.
Yeah.
You can't imagine Arnie Slot pushing or shoving someone coming off. I think so. He's got that kind of Spanish fire in his belly, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he needs to win a cup. He needs to win a trophy. I think he's got that drive in it.
So let's talk about the league, Mark, because interested in your view, because you look at the table and it basically says it's been a quite unusual season where you've got a really congested mid-table. You've got 10 points between 5th and 16th. Right,
Yeah.
United on 35, Leeds United on 25. Arsenal have been different this season. They've been, because I think Arsenal have got more steel about them than they had last season. But actually, everybody else is tripped up, really.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I look where we are, Villa. We didn't score a goal in our first 4 or 5 games. You're at the bottom, and then it's definitely a much more condensed middle table. Well, not even middle table. I mean, really, it doesn't take much. A few games lost, a few points won. It swaps around really quickly.
Well, we saw that with Forest last year, didn't we? The Forest were in a similar position to you,
slipped away,
and then tailed off. So Villa will be
conscious of that.
Conscious of that kind of you said, being heavily involved in Europe as well.
But there's 7 gaps between 3rd and 4th, so you got to think that Villa can continue that. I mean, I'll ask you, Mark. Do you see anybody else but Arsenal winning the league now?
No, I think it's Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, look at them. Goal difference, smash it on goal difference. You'd expect they're winning. They just they play nice football. They seem to have the passion now.
But you know what? It's set pieces.
Yes.
The other night in Europe against Inter Milan, I only saw the quick highlights, but it was the set pieces that destroyed Inter Milan, and it's their coaching for that is. I mean, Liverpool set pieces is really low in the league, but Arsenal, of course, they've really got a great team there for that. They have for a while, haven't they? Those set pieces are crucial now in football. Now everyone's doing the long throws, the corners. They're particularly good at the corners, aren't they?
They are. I mean, when they beat us, after we beat them, of course, at Villa Park, but they just crowded Martinez in the goal and just got him flustered, and it was in.
Yes.
I mean, they'd worked that. They clearly worked that on the training field, and they know what they're doing. But
I was listening to Talk of the Devils podcast this morning on my dog walk, and they were talking about how the percentage of goals that Arsenal have got from set pieces and corners especially, and that's no coincidence, is it? They've worked on that. I think that one of the big differences between Arsenal this season and last season is they are stronger. They're physically stronger. And I think they've got more options for how they score goals. And they can almost win dirty a little bit. You know, they've got a steal about them this year. Can I ask about Villa's style of football, Mark? Because we've been talking a little bit on the podcast, both the Wednesday one, the Friday one, about how the different formations that are being played. Counter-attacking football seems to be coming back a little bit. Possession-based football, the City play, they've adjusted a little bit as well on that. What sort of style is Villa playing at the moment, would you say?
So what do they do? It all comes out from Emmy at the back, doesn't it? So he pulls back. We play quite deep. We suck in the attack, and then go up and around. And it's. I mean, at times it can be frustrating to watch because you're like, come on, get on with it. But that's how it works. But, Crystal Palace did us. They always do us. But they just refused to engage with it. And they just stopped and they just kept deep. And then...
Do you mean this playing out from the defence, this kind of odd thing now?
Yeah, they wait until they come right in and it just sucks the attackers in and then creates the space around the back,
And that's where you need quick wingers and sprinty forwards,
Yeah. But it's nice football to watch when it works. But when it's a halfway line, it goes back to Emmy at times. You're like, oh, come on, just get on with it. But
I think this is a frustrating new thing in football, isn't it? Yeah. Even when I go to see Stoke with Oscar, it's both teams. It's this kind of, when you get a goal kick now, it's just frustrating. Like, oh God, you just like watching paint dry. They all stand off, wait to see if the guy's going to do the long kick, or the routine from the back. It's really, it's frustrating to watch in that respect.
It is,
and then there's this new kind of goalkeepers going down all the time, wasting time. It's almost a tactic now because they know they can't go off the pitch. I see that's frustrating me. They reckon. Diving has gone out of the game less, but feigning injury. Sean Dyche mentioned this the other day. So they know with VAR, diving is going to get done. So more with the head injury thing and referees being tempted to stop play for bad injuries. There's more feigning injuries now, I think. And that is also frustrating me because it's stop, start, and then you get this huge 8 or 10 minutes at the end. Oh, I don't know. There are some things they need to iron out, isn't there? But I don't know how you're going to get past feigning injury.
You sound completely depressed, and
no, but I know what Mark means. It's this playing out from the back and then going back and forth. Back. It is frustrating to watch. Everyone's shouting, "Just get up there, shoot!" I think there's sometimes less long range shots now. People want to.
Villa are king of the out of the box shots at the moment.
Yeah, well, that must be great because you almost want, even if they force the goalkeeper into a save, at least if you shoot and get the ball on target, that's what spectators want.
Absolutely, yeah. The cheer, you're right.
And I think Arsenal. If you think how many corners you get in a game, how many times have you watched a match where you think they're professional footballers and they can't even get past the guy on the front post?
Yeah.
Corners aren't utilised enough. So Arsenal really, practicing that is obvious because it's such a great position to have all your players there. If you can get that right, it isn't utilised properly enough. And I'm surprised even teams like Barca and Real Madrid they're not known, are they, for their set pieces from corners. But Arsenal, you get so many corners in a game. Well, if you're attacking it, you get those corners.
Mark, can I ask you about the structure, the ownership of Villa? Because Villa was notorious for Doug Ellis. And you were one of the founding members of the Premier League, it should be said as well. But Doug Ellis was a man of his time, wasn't he? And he was one of the old school chairmen, one of the old school owners. And I wondered sometimes whether Villa fans used to be in a state of two sides towards him. One, there's an affection because of what he was, but also he was holding back because he didn't have the money that so many clubs have. And now you've got, was it Randy Lerner and his group? Do you care about that as long as you're winning?
Well, so it went from Doug to Randy, and then Randy sold out. I think we got Egyptians ownerships now at the moment. So
do you?
Yeah,
Egyptian owned.
Oh, is that Teros?
Yeah, I think so. It is. Yeah, Randy sold out, I think, and the other one came in. But that's the frustration that there's money around, but we can't spend it.
Yes.
And I think the real reason we can't spend it is because the stadium isn't big enough, because the ticket receipts aren't high enough, and then everything just kind of everything just flows. And that's why we always get hammered on PSR results. Because we've at Villa Park, was it 49,000 capacity?
Yeah.
And then when there's a jump up next to Spurs, 60, 70 odd from there, and that just.
See, this is going to be. You talk about Birmingham City; they've got great big plans, haven't they, for their new stadium and the surrounding areas. So there might be a little bit of envy there whenever that's done, because they'll have this brand spanking. They've got, of course, American part owners, haven't they? With your ex NFL guy,
is it Brady? No,
Brady, Tom Brady.
He's at Birmingham City, isn't he? Yeah.
So Villa they'll have some. It'll be, I suppose, a bit like Anfield, where do we propose maybe a new stadium in the future, or are we just going to try and expand the existing one?
So I think that the current plans that I've seen out there are kind of the whole 10's ace. They're never going to change that. They shouldn't change that.
No, it's like the Cop, isn't it? Really?
I mean, they can't change it. That's the heart. The North Stand's tiny.
Is it?
That really needs knocking down and redeveloping. And I've seen plans for that, but it's in the middle of a housing estate. Factories, there's rows of houses that need to be acquired or sold out. So they
similar to Anfield, there, Mark. Similar problems that Anfield maybe had, that they had to sort out. The terraced housing. Sort people out and persuade them to move on so they could.
Your North Stand reminds me. Your overall ground reminds me an awful lot of Rangers ground in Glasgow, because they have three big stands, and they've got a traditional stand that is made out of brick. And that stand you're talking about is quite a traditional, old-fashioned ground.
Well, so the whole tent is made out of brick.
Is it?
The whole tent's with a big staircase running up to it. That's the beauty. But no, the North Stand just looks old now and just needs. I think the bottom level goes back 30, 40 rows. It's just not. It's not big enough. And Villa are selling out. They're selling out all the time. So there's demand.
And can you get a ticket easy, Mark? And what sort of prices are they?
No, you can't get tickets easy. So you have to.
Yeah. So how did you get your ticket for the Everton game?
So you sign up for the membership, and then you kind of get them as soon as they come out. Really. So what is it? So what did I pay for Everton? I think it was 60 for me, 60, 70 for me, and half price for the boy. He's 9, so
60, 70. Yeah, that's quite typical these days, isn't it, for the Premier League?
Yeah.
And I know of all the players you've had,
yes,
who for you is your personal favorite, and who do you think historically has been a fan's favorite, Mark?
For me, I guess it's from growing through Dwight York. Always.
Dwight York
sits nicely for me,
So I'll tell you what, selling it to us at 98. My God, that just completed the jigsaw for us.
I know, Dwight. Yeah, that just. Yeah, I think it's probably more just nostalgia and happy memories. But yeah, Dwight York's always been a special place for me. And I guess where a fan's favourite, I guess you can't go too far wrong with Paul McGrath.
And another United ex, actually.
United, yeah.
Actually, you just made me think. Actually, what are your thoughts on Grealish? Because of course, that must have, tell us about the reception he got that day.
That was quite odd.
And let's face it, he was a good player for you, Mark.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about Grealish? And of course, Dom's not here today, but he obviously won a few medals at City, and now has found a home Everton for the time being. What are your thoughts on Jack Grealish?
So obviously, like he was instrumental in getting Villa back into the Premiership. We sold him for 100 million plus.
Wow.
So we sold him.
Yeah.
I wanted to go, but we sold. We had the option to buy him. We could have bought him when he went to Everton. That was out there. Unai obviously didn't want him, so we don't have him. So when he came out, the whole team booed him every time he touched the ball.
Yeah.
But at the end, he came up and clapped everyone. There was a mix of booing, and I don't have a problem with it. It's the business of football. We did well out of him.
Very well.
We could have bought him. We chose not to. He's a good player. He's Villa through and through. Boyhood Villa fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no problem with him whatsoever.
He gets a lot of free kicks with his little. He knows how to win a free kick, doesn't he? And that can be crucial these days.
He does. He's nippy, in and out. I mean, I'm glad he didn't score, obviously. But yeah, no, I like Grealish. He's good. Part of me would have liked to have seen him back, but then there's always that. If you go back to a club, it's almost. You're never going to be as good as you were.
I'm just looking, Mark, at your list of managers over the years, and actually, you probably rival United for the number of managers you've had within the last period. So I count something like 10 managers in the last 15 years, going back to Gerard Houllier. You've had some real mixed bags, actually, haven't you? I mean, from Steven Gerrard making his coaching debut for you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
for what 11 months there. I don't know what happened. What did he? Where did he go?
It didn't work. It didn't work out.
It didn't work. No.
And then you Dean Smith before that, Steve Bruce, Roberto Di Matteo. I mean, good. And then some of these players, Di Matteo was there for what, less than 5 months.
I know. So when I first started properly following, it was kind of Brian Little. That was his era.
Yes,
Brian Little, ex-Stoke.
Yes. And then there was a few. Martin O'Neill obviously did well, but he kind of plateaued. He took him to he couldn't take them to the next step, so he moved on. You're right. We've been in and out of managers for
Graham Taylor.
Obviously, yeah.
Who was the manager when you won the European Cup?
Yeah, that was when was that? 82. So what's that?
82 would have been Tony Barton.
Tony Barton
or Ron Saunders, maybe. No, Tony Barton.
I was 2 then, way before my time. But still, yeah.
You really, I mean, you've had a real list of managers, and quite a few managers have gone on to international stages,
Big
like
Ron.
Martin O'Neill.
Was Big Ron there?
Big Ron was there, yeah. Straight after he was there for 3 years, and he had quite a good win percentage, not a bad win percentage actually, of the managers. But it's amazing. Paul Lambert, my God, you went through a real Scottish time with McLeish and Paul Lambert in a row.
Yeah. I guess it does coincide with with Randy Lerner coming in, taking over, and there's, who knows what goes on in the background there. But yeah, there's been lots of movements. But Unai is, we feel blessed to have Unai at the moment. He's just, I just hope he has passion to stay and achieve something.
Yeah,
with some silverware and just.
Yeah, because the danger is if he gets top 4 and wins the Europa League, some teams might come sniffing for him again. Is that that's the worry?
Yeah, our run in the Champions League year before last was good.
Yeah.
We went out to PSG over the 2 legs, but we beat them at Villa Park.
That's right.
We beat them at Villa Park.
I'm just looking at some stats, and Unai Emery is your only manager going all the way back to your first ever manager in 1884, George Ramsay. He's the only manager to have a win percentage that is plus 50%.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's 56.36. Everybody else, nobody else beats the 50 mark. And you've had some classics there like Roberto Di Matteo, 8%. Like, for example, Remy Gard, my God, where did you pluck him from?
Oh,
13%. So, yeah, do you not find this amazing, Mark, that these big football clubs, and I can say this now, it's the experience of United, is that they can get these things so wrong
yeah.
so many times. It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, I guess it's life in general, isn't it? When you look at something on paper and you think that fits, that'll work.
Mm.
But when you put it into practice, it doesn't always pan out how you want to. I think with Unai, he's brought his team in around him. He's got, in terms of who's over him, you don't have the structure like you've got at United, where you're director of football and this, and they're all
Yeah.
reporting. He's got the free reign to do
Yeah.
what he
That's
wants.
Mark. That's a great point because that's a real contentious issue. We've been talking about this, Rodney, haven't we?
Yeah.
That this new kind of structure in football, and of course Amarin
Well, yeah.
architected his own exit by saying that he wanted to be the manager and the coach. Because I didn't realize Emery's got a lot of control there, has he?
Yeah, he's got a lot of control, got a lot of freedom to do. He brought his Monchi in to go and pick his players and find. They've got control. He's got the freedom to do what he wants to do. Which when it works, it works. So let's see who he brings in this in the rest of this transfer window.
Why are you expecting? Are you expecting to get some people in this window?
Yeah, well, we've recorded Leon Bailey from Roma because midfield decimated. Chats with Mateta, maybe that could be quite nice. There's a few in the. There's a few in the.
Who did you say Mateta? Is that the Crystal Palace guy?
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
Oh, are you interested in him?
We're interested in him. There's Tammy Abrahams, who we're interested in as well.
He's coming back from Italy, possibly.
We need to strengthen, but I guess that's Villa's ploy. They get to where they do, then they get people in if they can, and get the loans to get them through the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Rodney, I think we should. You deserve your. Not that I'm bored about talking about Villa because I think it should be really interesting actually, but we need to give you your. You've had a great week with beating City. Surely, give us your take on what happened that day with obviously the new manager, if he's temporary or whatever. But you really turned up against City, didn't you?
We did, and I said on Wednesday's podcast, Richard, that for me it throws up more questions than answers in a way. Because, okay, he played four at the back. He made some big calls around the starting 11 because he managed to fit in Bruno and also Menu. And he changed the back two, for example. But for me, I'd be interested, Mark, in your view. I sometimes wonder how much players really want to win cups and games and trophies because they get paid so much money now that they're winning anyway. And it's about so I've been very critical of some of the United players, and yet they turned up last Saturday, an unbelievable performance, and played City really well, marked them out of the game. There's not often, City make some of the substitutions that they made in that game. When's the last time that, for example, Holland was substituted, but she was on the 80th minute, now it was only 80 minutes. But the stats will say they hardly had, I think, a shot. They had 7 shots to 11, but only one of those on target. But we give them nearly 70% of the possession, and I think this is there's an interesting thing for me at the moment in football, which is I think sides now are learning how to play more out of possession, even at home, and that then changes the importance of certain players, like a deep lying midfielder who's playing like a quarterback, for example, breaking the lines. We let them have possession, but they didn't get to do an awful lot with it. And we just played. Everybody played well, but the big thing for us now is okay. It's fine doing it in the derby is fine. That was one game.
Yeah.
Okay, the 3 points is important. The momentum's important. But now it's a huge game on Sunday.
Arsenal.
It's a huge game.
What an interesting game that is.
It's an absolutely huge game, and I think we've all agreed, and we were talking about it earlier on the pod. Arsenal have massively improved. They're lethal on set plays as well, set pieces. They've added a steal to their squad that wasn't there, I think, in last season. And it's a case of which United turns up. Is it the
I
United
have
that
to
are
say
gold?
that I think United would be happy with a point at the Emirates.
Of course,
You know,
absolutely.
and let's see what Carrick, if he can fire them up again, because Arsenal have dropped a few points recently, haven't they? Where they could have, it could have been, the league could have been almost out of sight now, but they've dropped a few as well. So, and they've been accused of not sometimes turning up in the big fixtures. So that United game is a really interesting game, actually.
It's a huge game, but then
You
Mark,
could be helping Mark out a lot, couldn't you?
well,
If you
you,
if you were
Mark,
to beat Arsenal, which is it could happen.
Could
Villa,
happen.
I love the way you say that. Oh, it could happen. It's like pigs may fly, but it could happen.
That game, what the first thought, because we're wallpapering over the cracks, really, aren't we, with United?
Oh, I mean,
Let's see. It's on, yeah, it's on for them, isn't
I
it?
mean, Mark, you've got a huge game on Sunday against Newcastle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is that home or is it Newcastle?
It's away. It's away. It's eighth played third.
That's another interesting one. Yeah.
It's a huge game because I mean Newcastle have faltered. They were storming it in the early seasons. They've come off the
Yeah.
boil a bit, and they'll be desperate to try to get into some European place. That's
Yeah.
2 o'clock at St James's is a massive, massive game.
Mm.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, sorry, Rodney, I should have mentioned this when we were talking about that derby. You got away with one with that
Oh.
red card.
Well,
That was a shocking decision. They said it was more of a glancing blow, but when they looked at it, my goodness,
well,
he should have gone for that.
Well, the defense of the reason why VAR didn't give it was they said that they didn't think there was intent and it was a glancing blow. So there was no intent and it was glancing. I agree. I can't say that, we get away with it. Certainly in other games that could have been an easy red. And at that point in the game, it would be
0-0.
to be honest, I mean, I was surprised that Dallo was rated 7 on the day because he's not my favorite player, and I thought he was weak at times in the game. He is our weak link, I think, but that would have changed the complete perplexion
Complexion of the game,
on the
yeah.
game, yeah. I come back, and I don't know, Mark, if you felt this with Villa, and Richard, you must have felt this with Liverpool, is this lack of consistency, this ability to turn up and play out of your skins. Because I've not known which United team's going to turn up for 12 years, pretty much, and you have players there who put in heroic performances, and they played to a system. And you got to turn around and say, well, why were they not listening to Amron, or were they listening to Amron and he was the problem, or what is it that has changed?
I just don't think they took to him. I think he seemed to be an odd character when he ever gave interviews. Like, sometimes if you haven't got the dressing room, Carrick's got the dressing room, ex-player. He's won stuff with. He's probably. He's obviously getting their attention. And that's why I think this Arsenal game is quite interesting to see if Carrick can.
Huge game. It's an absolute huge game. But I mean, there's some massive games actually across the weekend. Crystal Palace Chelsea is a really important game to Chelsea. Newcastle Villa 2 o'clock on Sunday is a huge game. We're at a stage now because the league is so tight. There's a lot to play for. I mean, let's face it, Burnley, Tottenham. Thomas Frank's hanging on there, and he hung on with his midweek win, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's a huge game. You're down at Bournemouth, Richard. That'll be tasty. That'll be interesting. And I mean, City Wolves. Come on, Mark. I mean, you must have a certain smile on your face about Wolves.
Well, my Becky, the wife, she's a Wolves fan. I like him to do well, but I mean, they're not as bad as they were at the start of the season. But I mean, obviously they've gone, haven't they? They've gone crazy crazy managerial decisions at the end of last season, selling players and bringing other ones in that are just haven't worked. Just haven't worked.
And they've got that young striker called Mane, who's looks very exciting. So he'll definitely be on his way at the end of the season, probably for big money actually.
What you were saying about managers losing the dressing room, you got to look at Real Madrid, right?
Yeah,
you know, they decided they didn't want Alonso there anymore. He's been forced out. You've got to have
player power there, though. Definitely
player power, absolutely. But you've got to have. I mean, the manager's in charge. They've got to be in charge, but they've got to have the respect for the manager to know that the system's working and have faith in them. But the players are so powerful now that if it's not working, mutinying off they go, right?
Can I ask, Mark, because as I've got older, my relationship to players has changed massively. You know, you used to look at them and they were heroes, and you look at them now, and I look at them as checkbooks, basically, or cash cards. But you know, has your relationship changed, and as you're taking your lad to the games? Also, just that whole thing of going to games, has that changed for you in some ways?
I guess it has. It's money. They're businesses. Football clubs are businesses, and they have to be profitable. And it just feel that way. You know, you're extracting every pound out of you so that they can invest in the team. But the owners of the team are owning it they're either owning it for a profit or to do some sports washing or whatever it is that they need to do with it. It's a business. And one of my buddies, he works for a company that tracks the players, so they can track all the players, so they know where they move every kind of minute. They know where they are. They kind of analyze what they've done, what they shouldn't have done. So
is this on the pitch, I presume?
On the pitch, what's that? On the
not
pitch,
the nightclubs.
Not in the nightclubs, on the pitch, right? So it's all driven by data and science now. So you know, so and so needs an attacking left winger. And then they're like, okay, the math says that's the person you need to have.
It's like Moneyball. It's like the Moneyball.
It's all very science driven, and it is science, but you need the passion as well. You want the passion.
Yeah.
And sometimes that missing. But you know, for me personally, you know, we're flying. There's lots of passion there. You see them coming off the pitch. They're all pumped. They all want to win, and that passion.
But you've got good fans, haven't you, as well?
Yeah.
You've got good fans.
Yeah.
Really good fans. And I think that really helps as well. Passionate fans, loyal fans, and you know, they know your levels really, and you're surpassing your levels at the moment. You know, and the realists.
You're right. Yeah. You know, we've been through years of crap, so it's nice. You can appreciate it. You can appreciate it, and we can be like, actually, we're punching at the moment, so we'll take that.
Well, anyway, we're going to wrap up the Theatre of Dreams extra time today. It's been a bit of a Villa special.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Sorry about
that.
That's
what we're going to have to call this, Rodney, a Villa special.
A Villa special. We'll come up with something. I might even go to ChatGPT and see what it says. But Mark, it's been really quite nice to talk about Villa. And you know what? For a while, Mark, I wonder whether Villa fans got frustrated about sometimes away fans used to think it's just a Villa. There's 3 points there. Yeah. That's not the case anymore, is it?
No,
you know?
It's not.
No, absolutely. Villa, the loss against Everton of the week. That's the first time we've lost in years at home. You know, it's Fortress Villa, and
Fortress
teams are rightly now a bit more concerned, a bit more respect, maybe.
Yeah, well, exactly that. Exactly. Well, I have to say, it's still one of my favorite football grounds to go to. Maybe it's just because of the games. I'll never forget the semi-final we play there. It's a good place to go and watch football. It's traditional, but a big football ground. Anyway, this has been the Theatres of Dreams Extra Time. You've been listening to Mark, Richard, Rod. We'll be back, not with Mark, unfortunately, but he's welcome back.
No, we listen. He might have got the taste for it now, Rodney.
He might have. Well, I'm hoping so. And I wouldn't be super sub either, Mark. We just missed Dom Bars, but Dom, the one thing
I think he needs one session with Dom, We need the four of us. We need one more crack at this.
Well, and actually, just like to say to Mr. Bars that although my memory's bad, for some reason my memory about victories over City is razor sharp. We will be back, and
He's going to have to. He's going to come out of that luxury Dom Bowers apartment at some point in the middle of Manchester. He's going to have to come out and face the music, isn't he?
He is. He's going to have to come out of his blue tiled wall where he's bouncing off at the moment.
And his designer scarf and his designer shoes.
Oh, yeah. Indeed. Anyway, wherever you're watching your football and however you're watching it, have a great weekend. We'll be back next week on the Theatre of Dreams Extra Time. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
See you guys.